We're going to start by lighting this little candle. It's a wax melt. Hi, and welcome back to Disorderly Tarot. Today's reading is for all of you out there who are in a mixed signal relationship or a confusing connection. We're going to find out what's happening in your connection and try to clear things up a little bit for you. There are 5 piles for you to pick from today, starting with group 1 down to group 5. I will give you some close-ups of the piles. Group 1 with orange aventurine. Group 2 with dragon's blood. Group 3 with cherry quartz. Group 4 with aventurine. Group 5 with goldstone. As you can see, I have a new oracle deck. This one is actually my own creation. It's called the Galaxy's Edge Love Oracle. I love creative writing and I write poetry in my spare time, and I use that poetry to create a love oracle deck. It's mainly going to be used for these mixed signals readings. Any sort of confusing connection, I will be using this deck to clear those up for you. I just want to be clear that I will not sugarcoat these mixed signals readings. So if that isn't for you, then I suggest you click off this video now and choose one of my other readings. So now please take a deep breath in and hold it, and slowly breathe out. And use your intuition to select the group that you're drawn to. You can pause the video here if you need more time picking. And when you're ready, scroll down to the description box or the comments and select the timestamp for your group. I will start with a reading for group 1. Hi group 1. So if you picked the orange aventurine, this is your reading. I'm going to pop that in the dish for you. And we will start by taking a look at the Galaxy's Edge cards. First, we have, I will no longer bet on you. And next, we have, please do not get used to this. I like that we've got such an interesting start to your reading, group 1. With I will no longer bet on you, I think you're at a point in this connection where you're done. They've been giving you mixed signals for so long and you cannot take it anymore, and I don't blame you. Your angels or spirit guides or soulmate out there wants you to know that you do not need to get used to this. You should not be okay with the kind of behaviour that this person has been treating you with. You deserve better. You deserve to be treated better. You deserve your feelings to be reciprocated and matched. I think you have done a lot for this person in this connection, and they've not given you back even half as much. You can do better, you will do better. This connection is so not worth it, and these are signs that it's just time to move on. It's time to move away from this. And I'm sorry if that comes out as quite a harsh truth and something that's hard to hear, but it's time to move on from this person. It doesn't mean that they won't come back at some point. It doesn't mean that you won't get an opportunity for another chance, but for the moment it's not the right time and it's not working and it's time to move on. Stop betting on this person. Get used to the fact that you can do without them and they are not treating you right. They are not giving you the kindness that you give them. You are deserving of so much more. Next, I've got a Lover's Oracle card for you. Close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to feel joyful. You can allow joy into your life regardless of the circumstances you currently find yourself in. So again, with that, I feel like this person has been making you feel so sad. I think you're someone who's usually quite cheerful, quite joyful, and you just feel like you've kind of been crushed by this connection. Their hot and cold behaviour has just completely got to you and got to your self-confidence and your self-worth as well. And you deserve so much better than that. No matter what circumstances you're currently in, this signifies hope for better in the future. You need to pull yourself out of this hole, and I think the only way you're going to be able to do this is to let this person go, because they are not making you feel good. They're making you feel so unworthy and so unlovable, and none of that is true. It's not true in the slightest. You are such a lovable, kind person. You deserve so much better than the way that they're treating you right now. I'm going to get some tarot cards for clarification. Tell me more about this confusing connection group one's in. Some more information on this confusing connection. Okay, so we have the Knight of Cups, followed by the Tower, the Wheel of Fortune, and lastly, the Hermit. Okay, what I keep hearing is don't give up. And I just wanted to say that before I forget it. I think you're resonating with the Knight of Cups. It's like you are always chasing love, but it's never really finding its way to you. And you're getting sick of it. You're getting sick of constantly chasing something that you never seem to achieve, you never seem to accomplish, you never seem to actually grasp hold of that love. You're exactly like this knight. You are chasing, but you're not able to actually keep hold of any love. And it's nothing to do with you doing anything wrong. It's more to do with you finding the wrong people and the wrong people being drawn in to that love that you're radiating. With the Tower, I see that you feel like your walls have been completely broken down, completely destroyed. This person has been so confusing and sent you so many mixed signals that you just feel like a ghost of your former self. This connection has taken so much out of you. You feel kind of like there's barely any of you actually left, but that's not true. You have such a lovely, warm character, such beautiful energy that you are able to radiate, and that hasn't changed. It's just that that will no longer work in this connection, because this connection is not working anymore for either party, and it's time to just let it go. And I think you're at that Tower moment, you're at that ending, and it's time to just move forward and move on. And the Wheel of Fortune very much signifies the start of a new chapter. It's putting this Tower moment, this destructive moment behind you and moving forward, moving on, working out what it is you do want and how you're going to go about manifesting it and bringing it into your life. You may need this Hermit energy to get to that point. So you may need to step away from dating for a little while, or step away from new connections, so that you can work out what exactly you want. And spend that time feeling joyful, spend that time renewing yourself and finding your old self, because I think you were someone who was just so blissful and happy and light on your feet, and suddenly this connection has kind of drained the life out of you. It's sucked you dry, and this is time to work on yourself, work on your self-confidence, bring that up a level, and put your best self into connections in the future. But take the time out, take the time to think about what you want to put out there and who you're going to let into your life, because maybe you've been a bit too lenient, and when you've been chasing love, you've been able to see all the good qualities in other people very easily and ignore their bad traits. And this is just a sign that it's time to move on from that chapter. It's time to start assessing people for who they really are and not covering up their flaws and acting as if they don't exist when they do. I'm sorry to hit you with the hard stuff, but this person that you're asking this question about, that you're doing this reading for, they're not in a good stage of life for a connection with you, or for a connection with anyone really. They're not in the right mindset for this, and that's why this connection has come off as so hot and cold, and you've been receiving all these mixed signals from them, because they're not ready for the kind of connection that you are ready for, and your energies just are completely out of equilibrium. You're not able to match each other, and you won't be able to match each other in the short term, definitely not, because you're on such different planes. I think what you need to do is kind of seize the day and stop putting up with the mixed signals that your person is sending you. You don't need this. You can do so much better. I almost feel like I'm your friend, or I'm your soul family, or at least those are the messages that I'm getting at the moment from your soul family. Just, oh my God, you can do so much better. You are such a great person, and you're filled with love. And there are people out there who deserve that love that you're willing to give them, but this person is not one of them, and especially not at this stage in their life. They are not ready to process your love, and they are not ready to open their arms up to it. And that's why they've been tearing you down, a bit like this tower. I feel like every time you've been trying to build blocks to make the connection work, they've been tearing those bricks down. They've been tearing your walls down, and you are left in this aftermath of rubble. But it's time to move on. It's time to move forward. It's time to step away from this, because it's not making you feel happy. It's draining the life out of you. And for the short term, it may be best to just step back from dating altogether and reassess what it is you want in your love life, because I don't think you are out there looking for the right things. You seem to be chasing the wrong things at the moment. Maybe you're someone who is so in love with romance and in love with the idea of love, and it's just very difficult for you to be like, wait a second, I'm dating someone, I'm head over heels for them, I've got all the butterflies, but you know what, I'm going to take a step back and just reassess. Are they as good as I'm making them out to be, or is there some sort of a red flag that I am completely ignoring? I think you might be prone to ignoring red flags when you see them, especially at the very beginning of a relationship, just because you're so invested in love and you so want it to work out that it's very easy to be blind to any danger cues. And that's why you need this hermit mode. You need this time out to think about how you're going to learn from the mistakes of the past. And I'm not saying this connection was all your fault. It really wasn't. And the hot and cold information, the mixed signals, none of that was you. It was from your person. But you need to learn from them, and you need to learn why you were drawn to someone who was giving you those mixed signals, and why you weren't able to just let them go immediately as soon as those mixed signals started coming in, and why you stayed with the relationship and you stuck it out and tried to make it work for so long. And it may be down to the fact that they have crumpled your self-esteem to some extent, but it may also be down to you just wanting love so badly that you're turning a blind eye to anything bad that's happening in your love life. And that's not in your best interest. That's not going to serve you in the long run, because when there are downs in a relationship, you need to be aware of them. You need to process them. You need to try and figure out how you're going to overcome those hurdles. And usually you'll do that with your partner. It's a balancing act where you help each other better the relationship. But in this connection, you weren't able to do any of that. And it's okay to admit that, and it's okay to learn from any errors or mistakes that either of you made in this connection, because it'll help you to make more healthy connections in the future. Next, I want to have a look at the other oracle cards. I pulled for you. So first we have a Wisdom of the Oracle card, Chaos and Conflict, 33. And a Quantum Oracle card, Commitment. Again, there's a 3 there. Don't know if 3 is a significant number for you at the moment. It might be something that you keep seeing pop up. I'm not liking the placement. Let's change this a little bit. So with Chaos and Conflict, that's just a reflection of the Tower, of everything you've been feeling in this connection. This complicated energy, this mixture of feelings, this 1 minute feeling like you're on cloud 9 and everything's amazing in the connection and you're so happy and elevated and they're making you feel this way, and then the next moment you're ghosted or you're let down or you're forgotten about, or even they may be saying some nasty words that have worked their way into your brain and impacted your self-esteem too. It's this argumentative energy. So it may not be that you actually had arguments with this person, but it's just feeling like as soon as your relationship starts on an up again and you start feeling on top of the world again, you are let down. That's what I'm getting from that card. I think this connection has been really, really difficult for you. It has affected how you see yourself as a person. It's taken over your life, and not in a positive way, but a negative one. Maybe you've not been able to focus on your work life or on friends and family so much recently because this connection has been exhausting and completely taking up any spare time that you had. With commitment, I see that your person has been struggling to give you any reassurance or any feeling of commitment whatsoever. It's as if you have been able to give them that. You have been able to encourage them. You have been able to make them feel like you are a safety blanket for them and there is no risk of losing you. However, they have not been able to reciprocate that. You have not got any ideas from them that they are staying around or that they are committed to you, because they're not, and they can't be at this moment in their lives. They are a little bit unstable and they're not able to provide you with any sort of surety or confirmation that they are sticking around, which is why this connection is not good for you at the moment, and it's just making you sad. And it's time to move on from that, because there will be better out there. There will be someone who can return that love to you, and someone who will chase you too, so that you're not the only one doing all the chasing. I just see you as so vulnerable, and I think you've been very vulnerable in this connection, and that's not a negative thing at all. That's something to be proud of. But unfortunately in this connection, it was just with the wrong person. You literally held your heart out to them and let your guard down and let them in, and they didn't do the same with you. And they've been so confusing. They've been 1 minute there, the next minute completely gone. They've been making you feel butterflies at times, and at other times making you feel sad or a little bit hurt, as if you don't deserve them and they're too good for you, even though they're not. They're really not. They're lost. I definitely feel like they're lost in their lives. They don't know what they want. They're confused, and that's why they're radiating that out into your connection too, and making you feel their own confusion. I'm going to be entirely honest. I don't like your person's energy. I think it's off. I think you deserve so much more, because you've got quite kind, compassionate energy, and I'm not getting any of that from them at the moment. That isn't to say that they're a bad person or that they won't work on themselves in the future and become someone who is worthy of you, but at the moment they're not deserving of you, and you can do better, and they're just tearing you down. And I don't like that they're making you feel that way, and that they aren't ready for commitment, and they may have even given you a false expectation that they would be ready at some point, but that is not the case. So don't let them fool you in that way. Lastly, I have a couple of Believe in Your Own Magic cards just to get some advice and self-help. We have Escapist, come home to yourself. And Dragons, slay them all. So with Escapist, I'm getting another indication that it's your time to escape from this connection. It's your time to move on. It's your time to slay those dragons, cut those ties and move on, because you are strong. We've got two depictions of a knight. So you are someone who will fight for love, and you really are in love with love. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It's just that you need to find someone else who is also in love with love, and the person in this confusing connection is not that person for you, especially at the moment. With come home to yourself, again, it's more hermit energy. It's time to reflect on what you've learnt from this connection, come out of the connection and sit with yourself, and maybe avoid dating for a little while you can figure out what it is exactly that you want in a relationship, and also so that you can spend some time focusing on your positive traits and your abilities and how incredible a person you are, because I really see you as such a loving, kind person who's deserving of much better than dragons. You deserve your prince or princess. You do not deserve some sort of fire-breathing monster that's just burning you all the time and making you sad. You deserve so much better than this person. I don't think you could have any more confirmation than this, that this connection isn't right for you and it's not serving you and it's making you feel so put out, and you deserve so much better than that. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy to move on, but it's for the greater good. It's for improving yourself, and also it's what's going to bring you closer to finding the right person for you and getting that commitment that you deserve, because there's no way you're going to get it from this particular connection. However, these are the things that are going to lead you to a brighter future. These are the things that are going to lead you to finding your soulmate, to finding someone who's good for you. And it may feel like you've had to slay a lot of dragons. It may feel like you've been in some sort of a repetitive cycle and you've been meeting very similar people over and over again. People who have been confusing, people who have given you lots of mixed signals, people who appear like they have no red flags at the beginning and then suddenly they're all coming out and they're destroying your self-confidence. But with the Wheel of Fortune, it really is time for a change, and you're at that pivotal moment where if you step away from this connection, you can find something completely different. You can break the cycle and you can move forward and move on and get that commitment that you deserve without all the chaos and conflict. You can be at peace. You can escape this whirlwind roller coaster that you've been on that you do not deserve, because you deserve love. You deserve the love that you're giving other people. You're only going to find that when you build your self-confidence back up and you start looking for what you deserve rather than what just befalls you. Don't be afraid to have high standards. That's another thing that I'm hearing. It may actually do you good, and it may draw in people worthy of you rather than people who are going to mess you around like this connection has. So that's all I've got for you today, Group 1. I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you did, please click that like button down below, and also feel free to leave a comment to let me know what you liked about the reading and what resonated. Subscribe to Disorderly Tarot if you haven't already, if you'd like to see more of my pick a card readings in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. Hi, Group 2. So if you picked the Dragon's Blood, this is your reading. I'm going to pop that in the dish for it. And we'll start by taking a look at the Galaxy's Edge. First, we have Breakaway Love. breakaways flake away. And next, we balance our hearts on each other's razor sharp edges. Okay, so with that, I'm getting the indication that you are hurting each other in this connection. I'm really sorry, group 2, because it made me shiver just thinking about it. But it's like both of you want this connection to work so badly. However, you keep hurting one another. And with breakaway love, I think you're so terrified of this being breakaway love. You're terrified of each other just disappearing on one another. You're terrified of losing each other. But you kind of see it as inevitable at the same time. It's as if you've been trying for such a long time to make this work and it just isn't working, and you keep hurting each other over and over again. And you don't know how much more you can put up with that. So breakaway love to me is when you're in love with someone who could take or leave you. It's a horrible feeling. It makes me think of that pain, that hollow in your heart that you feel just before all the heartbreak sets in. So you know when you're really invested in a connection and then suddenly they let you down, or they ghost you, or they hurt you with some painful words, and in that moment your heart feels hollow for a second, and then you feel that surge of pain that is heartbreak. I think that's what you're worried this connection is. You're scared it's breakaway love. You're scared you've had strong feelings for someone, and in a moment this connection is going to snap. It's going to break in two. It's going to be lost, and it's going to feel like such a waste of an investment for you. To put it plainly, you've put your all into this connection and you are terrified of that being for nothing. But at the same time, you're not sure if you can stay in a connection where you're at each other's throats. And it may not be in a physical or verbal way. It may just be the little things that each other's done or said have injured the other person, have hurt the other person's feelings. And you may not have been obvious about it. You may not have even spoken about it at the time. But in your own time and in your own reflection, whatever they said hurt you, and it got to you, and it damaged your self-esteem just a little bit, and you're wondering whether it's worth it, whether you can put up with this for much longer. Next, I'd like to have a look at your Lover's Oracle card. Healing. Imagine yourself and your beloved surrounded by light. Feel your relationship being healed this very moment. So that's very positive and optimistic. I think this is a great sign. I think this connection can go somewhere. It can work out. But what you need is this healing. And maybe you and your person need to talk about things. You need to talk about what has hurt each other and learn from it and figure out how you're not going to repeat the same mistakes and keep driving a wedge between you both and keep hurting each other, because it's not been working. And you've been terrified that all of that love, all the time that you've spent together has been for nothing, but it's not for nothing. You can heal from whatever hurt has happened. You can move on from it. You can move forward together and make this connection work if you want it to. But it requires communication. It requires talking it through with your person and figuring out what needs to change, what cycle needs to stop being repeated, so that you can both feel good in this relationship and stop feeling like you're being cut by razor blades when you talk to each other and when you do certain things that really infuriates the other person, and you know that thing is something they don't like, so you need to be a step ahead and not do it. And the same goes for them. I think they're acting very similarly towards you. I think you're mirroring each other's behavior and you're not treating each other that well. I just see a lot of hurt. However, this is an indication that it can be healed, that a plaster can be patched over it and the wound will heal itself if you give it time and you give it good communication and you do talk all of these issues through. Next we have some tarot cards, because I'd like a bit more information on this connection, this confusing connection that group 2 has. Tell me about group 2's connection. What's happening with it? Okay, so we have the 3 of Wands, followed by the Knight of Wands, followed by the Chariot, and then Strength, and lastly the World. Firstly, I just want to say there's a lot of passion between the two of you. There is a lot of attraction and love with the Knight of Wands. I think in the good moments with each other, you are so in love with each other. You enjoy spending time with each other. It's very passionate, very enigmatic. You are really attracted to each other. It's really good when it's good. However, there's some problem, and it may be that this is a long distance connection and that's what's getting in the way of both of you, or it may be that one of you has very different dreams and ideas of the future to the other one, and there's a bit of conflict there. There's a bit of a difference of opinion and you tend to clash on that, and that's what this card about. Balancing your hearts on each other's sharp edges. That's what it's about. And it's leading you to feel pulled in two directions, torn apart, confused, conflicted. And that's what we have with the Chariot. You do not know where to go, and you feel like in a second it could be gone. Because as quickly as this passion ignites, as quickly as it's there, it could disappear as well. And that's what terrifies you. However, this connection is strong. It's stronger than you know, it's stronger than you believe, and it does have potential to go far. With the World, it's feeling success, feeling like you've accomplished something, and that's the feeling you can get out of this relationship, but you need to go through this time of healing, this period of communicating honestly and openly with one another to get there. And it will require strength from both of you, but you do have it. You have the ability to get to this perfect place of balance where you both feel happy with one another, and you're able to elongate these moments of passion, these moments of good feelings, and you're able to sort out whatever these problems are, whether it is long distance and you need to move closer to one another, or spend more time maybe video calling or checking in with each other to make that work, or whether it's to do with your futures being envisioned very differently. And if that is the case, what you need is communication to sort that out and to figure out how you're going to fit your futures together, how you're going to make things work in the long run. And until you have this communication, you're going to continue feeling a bit lost and a bit confused and stuck. The only way to move forward and to get to a better place is to talk about it and to figure out how you're going to make things work and make sure you're both on the same plan, because at the moment you're on very different plans, and that's what's causing this tension between the two of you and what's giving you the anxiety that it's going to be over in a second when it's not. And there is hope that this can move forward, but it will be over if you don't do this healing, if you don't spend time together working on your connection and making it work. Next, I've got a couple of oracle cards for a little bit more information. We have Never Ending Story and The Loving Man. Oh, okay. So if you wanted confirmation that this connection, this relationship is going somewhere and it's worth putting this healing time in and investing in that, these both give you that. This is a loving connection. This person is a loving person and they do care about you and they do want to make this work. They're willing to put in as much effort as you put in. They don't want this story to end, and you don't either, and it doesn't have to. You can have a long, deeply fulfilled relationship if you want it. You can make this connection last if you want to, but it just requires some work to get there. And rather than being argumentative and going for each other's throats or being cruel to one another, you need to take the time to understand things from the other person's point of view and to communicate with them and talk to them and figure out how you can make the future work for both of you and how you can both be happy in the future. You need to find that balance with one another so that your story doesn't end, so that this relationship continues and you continue to feel this love and this passion and excitement, because it will be worth it. You can make this relationship work for a long time. It feels like a soulmate connection with the world as well, and strength and the Chariot, that all major arcana. It feels like a really good relationship with a lot of potential, but that potential is only going to be explored if you do this healing work first. And it may even be healing your own wounds too. Like perhaps you just feel exhausted from the struggles that have happened in the past in this connection, and you both need to just comfort each other and be there for one another and listen to each other and work out how you're going to move forward from this and into a better connection, one that's more healthy and one where you treat each other better and look out for one another. It is possible, and it is something that is so worth it. I mean, I see a lot of happiness in the future. I see things working out. I see love, just so much love and potential, but you can't let yourself be in this cycle of confusion. You can't let this Chariot energy continue. You have to make a change. You have to talk to each other and figure out what is it that's not working and how do we change that? How do we improve on that? How do we learn lessons from the past to better our future? You can't just keep hiding behind the passion and the flirting and the excitement, because that's there for a moment, but then it's gone very easily. And yes, it will come back again, but it's not going to ever be there constantly, and passion never is there constantly. It's something that comes and goes. But love can be there constantly. Love can always be there in the background if you build a solid foundation for it, which you don't have at the moment, and that's something you need to work on. If you both have reciprocated love and you don't let yourself, your ego, come in front of that, come before that, come on top of that, then you can make this work. And you will always be looking out for the other person. And if you're both doing that for each other, this relationship will work and it'll be smooth sailing. I think some compromise is required. It may be that both of you are a little bit stubborn. You may be fire signs even, Sagittarius, Leo and Aries. Or you may have a little bit of that energy in one of your charts, because I see some fieriness and I see some fixed sign stubbornness as well. You're both so strong and so passionate and so driven that I think it might be difficult to know when to back down and when to listen to the other person instead, and when to come to a compromise on certain situations so that you don't hurt each other. It's worth doing, and it's something that you need to work on if you want this connection to last. Lastly, I have a couple of Believe in Your Own Magic cards. The first one, Morning, the world awaits you. And then we have Sun, paint the sun back into your sky, 11. That might be a significant number or a lucky number for you, or it may just come up in terms of this connection. This is telling you that you need to be happy again. And perhaps you've not been happy recently because you've felt this discomfort from all that hurting. I feel like you've fallen out quite a few times, or even if it's not been obvious, they may have said or done something that's hurt you in the background and you found it difficult to let that go. But it's time to work on yourself and work on liking yourself again. It's time to see the positive aspects of your relationship and focus on them, and focus on working on the negative aspects so that they're no longer there anymore, rather than just being disillusioned by them. This card is saying it's not too late. You know, you're waking up in the morning, the whole day is ahead of you. You can do that healing work. You can get to wherever you want to be in terms of this connection. You can make this connection good and happy again and bright like the sun if you want to, but you have to put in the work. You have to paint it back into the sky. You have to do this healing work. You need to talk to one another and be communicative and be clear about what you think will help the two of you. And I think it's not just asserting your own ideas, but listening to theirs too. That's what's important, finding that balance and having that empathy. Listen to them. What is it that's not working? Because you both know individually, but you haven't been sharing it with one another in a healthy, positive way. You've not been sharing it in the way of considering how you can learn a lesson from that, or how you can work on that aspect to make things better and to make sure that that same thing doesn't happen again. This connection has so much potential for a soulmate, long-lasting connection, and you can make it into that if you put in the work, if you both put in the work. And I have a feeling your person is willing to meet you halfway if you put in your side of things. If you try to make a few changes, they will too. So it's really down to you and whether you're willing to put in an effort and try to heal any issues in the relationship or not. That's all I've got for you, group 2. I hope you enjoyed your reading. If you did, please hit that like button down below. Also, leave a comment to let me know what stood out to you in this reading. I'd love to hear it. Subscribe to Disorderly Tarot if you haven't already, so that you can catch any pick-a-card readings I upload in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye. Hi, group 3. So if you picked the cherry quartz, this is your reading. I'm going to pop that in the dish for it. And we will start with your Galaxy's Edge cards. So first we have, you are my gilded mermaid of rough seas. And the crescendo as we crash together like waves. So group 3, I want to start by saying your person has a lot of feelings for you. They enjoy especially intimacy with you. They're very attracted to you and they think you're a good match for each other. They really look up to you. They see you as golden. I'm not actually seeing any hot and cold, confusing mixed signal aspects at all in these cards so far. I'm just seeing someone who thinks the world of you, has you up on a pedestal. They see life perhaps at the moment as quite tough for them, but you are kind of the shining light. You are a ray of hope in a difficult time for them. They see you as their match, their soulmate. They want to be with you forever. There's a lot of hope that they have invested in you and in this connection. Let's get your Lover's Oracle card to get a little bit more information on this connection. When it comes to matters of the heart, there is no right or wrong. Every choice you make expands your understanding of life and love. And as there's no clear message still, what I'm going to do is pull your tarot cards as well, and then I'll read it as a whole. So we're just going to get a few tarot cards about group 3's confusing connection. Tell me a bit more about group 3's connection. What's that all about, this mixed signals connection for group 3? Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles, followed by the High Priestess, then the Nine of Wands, and lastly, the Queen of Wands. Your person's a bit of a mess. Not in like a negative way, but they've got a lot on their plate and they're feeling very unaccomplished, and they're putting you up on a pedestal to seem like this incredible person. They really see you in such a good light. They're so proud of you. They see you as strong, brave, driven, passionate, committed. Yeah, just so strong and independent. And they're having to deal with rough seas. They're having to deal with a lot in their own life, and they're kind of exhausted and worn out from fighting all these battles, not with you, but just in general. And I think it takes over at times. I think they see what they want in the future with you, but they're not able to manifest it. They're not able to bring it into reality. They're hoping that slow and steady will win the race with you. So I don't think they're very obvious in their affections for you always. However, they do really love you and they look up to you. And they see you as very elevated, almost as if you're very mature. Well, they've not lived as many experiences as you have, so they feel almost younger in energy. The rest of their life is kind of taking focus right now. Not their love life. They are dealing with a lot of other aspects of their life and it's taking over. So they're not able to contribute much to your connection. They're not able to think about it much or to spend much time on it because there's so many other things going on for them that are pulling their focus away and that are overshadowing this connection, despite the fact that they really do love you and they care about you and they look up to you. They're hoping that they can just keep you on the back burner and focus on these other parts that are at the forefront for them at the moment, and later on they'll be able to just pick you back up and start wherever you left off. But I don't see that is the case with you. I see you wanting a committed relationship where everything feels equal and you're putting into it as much as they're putting into it. And that's not how you're feeling right now in this relationship. You're feeling like things are out of balance and you're getting mixed signals from them, and it's because they're constantly taking their energy out of this connection so that they can put it into other things, and you don't like that about it. It's making you feel unstable and insecure in the relationship, and like maybe they don't care about you that much even though they do. And I think that's why you're feeling like maybe I need to make a choice about whether this connection is right for me. Maybe I need to decide if I want to just step away from it altogether because they're not giving me them 100% all the time. They're giving me a lot at some points and crumbs at other points, and that isn't enough for you. I think you want to take this decision into your own hands. I think you're quite an independent person and you want to just make this decision and be like, you know what, this isn't enough for me, I'm just going to move on. But you're watching this reading because you want to know if there is any hope for the two of you. You want to know if they do actually have feelings for you, or if there's another reason for them like giving you these mixed signals. And from the looks of things, they do have very, very strong, deep love for you, but they're so invested in these other areas of their life at the moment that they think it's okay to play this waiting game and to give you less at points. And I think the only way that you're going to come to a conclusion on this matter is if you're honest with them and you tell them, you know what, enough's enough. I feel like I'm giving you a lot more than what you're giving me. And if you actually want this connection, this relationship to work with me, you need to put in more effort because I'm feeling like things are in balance. I'm feeling like I'm giving a lot and you're only giving half as much, and it's making me feel uncomfortable, and it's making me feel like that maybe this isn't worth it. So yeah, this is calling for you to be honest with them, be direct with them, and you are a very direct, fierce, strong person. So I think you do have the courage and the ability to do that. If this is not making you happy, you need to tell them that. You need to be honest and upfront with them. And if they're unwilling to change at that point, then that is your motivation to move on and to move away from them and to let go of this connection, because it obviously isn't right for you in that case. But that communication may just be what they need to kick it up a notch and realise, no, you know what? I need to put more focus onto this relationship. I'm not doing it justice. They are making me so happy that I want to give them what they deserve, and I've not been doing so. And they've communicated that with me now and told me they want more, so I'm going to give that to them. Next, I've got some oracle cards. So we have a wisdom of the oracle card, building blocks, and then we have a quantum oracle card, transformation cycle. So this is calling for a transformation. It's calling for change because you are sick of this. You are done with the confusing nature of this relationship. You want to build a solid foundation, a sturdy foundation. You want to build a sturdy, committed, long-term relationship. And at the moment, in this energy, you're unable to do so because they're not giving you commitment. They're not giving you positivity. They're not giving you balance. They're not giving you enough. You're missing the basics at the moment. You're missing equal partnership. You're missing collaboration. You're missing both parties working on this relationship to the same extent. And I think that's why you're calling for this transformation. You're calling for a change. You're calling for them to become enlightened, to needing to work harder to make this connection work. But you can't keep just hoping and wishing that they're suddenly going to realise that they're not putting in enough effort. You need to just be verbal and tell them and be upfront with them, because I think that's the only way they're going to realise, because they're living it under this like cloak, under this pretense that everything's okay the way it is, and they can keep treating you the way that they're treating you, and you're still going to stay committed. You're still going to keep loving them as much as you're loving them, and this could go on forever. They need kind of a kick up the butt. They need to know that you deserve more and that you're feeling like you're not getting enough from them. You're not satisfied with how much they're giving you because they're not putting enough attention into this. That's clear. They could be putting more attention into this connection, but they're not. They're so focused on other things, and they think it's okay to just kind of pick you up and set you down when they want to. And as much as they love you, they're not showing you the respect that they have for you through their actions, because picking someone up and setting them down when you feel like it is a very selfish thing to do. And it's not taking care of you, which is what they need to do. And they need to be aware that they're not taking care of you and that they're not treating you right. But I don't think they're going to realise that by themselves. I think they're only going to realise that if you draw their attention to it. And at that point, they may transform. And if they don't transform, that's when it will be your time to make the choice about whether you're okay with getting this kind of hot and cold energy from them, or whether you wouldn't be able to deal with that for a lifetime and it's time to just move on and look for better. Because you're ready for a commitment. You're ready to start a proper, solid, sturdy relationship with someone. And if they're not going to be that person, if they're not going to give you that equal partnership, then you are independent enough and focused enough to go in search of something more, to find someone who is willing to give that to you. And that's something to be proud of yourself for. try not to be afraid of telling them the truth, because they do value you so much and they value your opinions too. And I think you've just not been vocal enough about how they're making you feel of late. And once you are vocal about those things, that'll give them the opportunity to actually change and to prove to you that they can do more and they can give you more and they can be more in this connection, and prove to you that this connection is worth it. Lastly, I've got a couple of Believe in Your Own Magic cards, just for some advice. So we have Garden, something lovely will grow from this. And then Sundress, do it for you. So again, I think they're lucky to have you in this connection. You make them so happy, you do a lot for them, but it's time that you do something for you, that you make yourself happy. And by speaking to them and being honest with them, you will be making yourself happy. You need to open up and tell them that this isn't satisfying you, this isn't making you happy, and you're feeling this imbalance in the relationship. You're feeling like they're not committed, they don't want it as much as you do, and maybe they don't even love you, even though you have kind of an inkling or a hint that they do love you deep down. So why are they not showing it more? You need to call them out on it, and something lovely will grow from this. Like, you can have a beautiful connection and relationship together. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little rose in her hand and it's growing from the soil. And that's how your connection can grow. Your relationship can last a long time if you find that balance, if they put in as much as you do to this connection. And maybe at times you're even putting in too much and you need to pull back a little bit on how much you're putting in, because maybe you're letting other aspects of your life just kind of fall by the wayside. And it's time that you invest in other aspects of your life too, perhaps your work or your hobbies or your home life. Maybe you're giving this connection 100% and they're only giving it 50% some of the time. And when you have this conversation, they'll start giving it 90% and you can also start giving it 90%, so that you don't ignore the rest of your life, because they aren't the only part of it. You are so accomplished, you have so much going for you, you have so much potential, and you have other parts to you that you can focus on too. This is a time to transform, not only for them but also for yourself, and make sure that you are making yourself happy in every area of your life, and not just putting all your focus and time and energy into one place, and especially not into a person who is not willing to do the same for you in return. With this card, I also feel like you're very good at nurturing one another. You're very good at kind of holding each other close and giving each other hugs and warmth and comforting each other when you need to. So maybe you just require a bit more of that from your person, but all of that can be communicated to them, and from the sound of things, they will listen. So it's worth being honest with them and being upfront so that they know what's going on in your head, because I don't think they can read your mind. But definitely with these cards, they do love you. They do put you up on a pedestal. They do want you in their lives. They would do anything for you. So you just need to communicate with them what it is that you want, and then they'll be able to fulfill it. That's all I've got for you, Group 3. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you did, please leave a like down below. Also, feel free to comment if you want to let me know what struck a chord with you from this reading today. I'd love to hear it. Subscribe to Disorderly Tarot if you haven't already, so that you can watch my new pick a card readings in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an incredible day. Bye. Hi, Group 4. If you picked the Aventurine, this is your reading. Just going to put that in the dish for it. And we will start with the Galaxy's Edge Love Oracle. So the first card we have is Commitment Concerns. And Fierce Storms. So straight off the bat, I'm getting a lot of discomfort. I think there's been a lot of upset between the two of you, perhaps even arguments with Fierce Storms. I can see someone getting angry. I don't know if they're outwardly getting angry or if it's just kind of bubbling up inside them. It could be you, it could be your person. With commitment concerns, I think you're afraid that this person will never commit to you, that this connection is going nowhere. This energy can be vice versa, so it may be you who's having commitment concerns, but I'm really getting it strongly that it is them for the majority of you who chose this reading. You're feeling very, very unsure of this connection. It's as if you're questioning why you're even in it in the first place, because it's just making you both so upset. There's so many falling outs, there's so many disagreements, and you just feel like it's not heading anywhere. It's not a stable connection, and you're finding it very difficult to picture a future. Even though that may be making you very sad and you want a future with this person, you're just feeling like they're not invested in it and they don't want it to continue, or they are just so afraid of commitment because of things that have happened to them in the past that they will never commit to you. And that has given you a lot of anxiety. It's terrifying you. Next, I've got a Lover's Oracle card. Passion. A magnetic and seductive quality surrounds you at present. Enjoy it. Right. So, I think this connection feels like a fling to you. There's a lot of passion, there's a lot of attraction, there's a spark. You have great intimacy together. However, you feel like there's no commitment. This person does not want a committed relationship with you. They may be someone who has a lot of casual connections. They may be someone who's a bit of a player. They may be someone who is not looking for a committed relationship right at this moment. But I think you are, and that's why this is causing you confusion. This is making you uncomfortable, and you're not really sure what they want from you. I think you have a lot of fun together, and that's why you can see that you would want a relationship with this person, but they are not able to give you a higher level of commitment at the moment, and that is worrying you because maybe it's felt a bit stagnant for some time now, and like you're not able to up level at all, and that's what you want. And maybe even when you bring up a higher level of commitment, that causes arguments between you both or some sort of disagreements, and it just feels like everything's clouded over you again and you feel so unsure and uncomfortable. And it's bringing me the image of the moon in tarot, like you don't know where it's headed. There's so much uncertainty and you just want it to sort itself out. You want to know what is going to happen in the future. You want to know if there is a possibility of any future relationship with this person, because they're leading you on and off the path and you're just so confused. That there's so much confusion from them. You don't know how to read them. I'm going to get some tarot cards to get a bit more information from the Everyday Witch Tarot. Tell me about Group 4's connection. What's happening in this connection for Group 4? Tell me about Group 4's confusing connection. What is going on? Spill the tea on Group 4's connection. What's happening? Okay, so we have the Hanged Man, the Lovers, Four of Wands, and Seven of Wands. First, I just want to point out we have two major arcana, the Hanged Man and the Lovers. So this feels like the connection is having a big impact on you. It's a big part of your life at the moment. And we also have two Wands cards and Passion. So that makes me think of fire energy, fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So they may be present in yours or your person's charts. Or it may just be the energy that the two of you or one of you is feeling at the moment. Very passionate, driven, creative. I think you're feeling a lot of excitement anyway in this relationship. And that's what's being mirrored in the tarot cards. So with the Hanged Man, I think you're feeling like you've been stuck in the same place in this connection for a very long time. You see this connection as very strong. You see it as a soulmate connection. You see that you're meant to be with this person. However, they're not giving you that commitment. They're not giving you the cause for celebration. And you are stuck in this energy of just nothing changing. Perhaps you've been dating this person for ages and you've wanted a relationship, or perhaps you've been having something casual for ages and you've wanted a committed relationship, or perhaps you've been in a relationship with this person for ages but they haven't proposed, or they haven't asked you to move in together. You're just feeling like things are stagnant and they're not moving, and you want them to move forward, and you've wanted them to move forward for such a long time now. And you're starting to feel like you've almost been a fool, and every single time you bring up wanting this commitment or wanting more, they turn on you and they make you feel as if you're acting crazy for bringing that up, or for feeling like they're not giving you enough because they feel they are, but you're still feeling it's incomplete. You're feeling like you can't reach that higher level that you want to reach because they're completely unwilling, and they're being very stubborn in where they're setting that boundary and not moving from it, and they're almost turning it back on you. I'm seeing kind of a toxic trait in the fact that definitely some of you who are watching this, your person is very confrontational, and when you bring up things that you're not happy with in the relationship, they twist them and manipulate them slightly so that they turn back on you. They may even be unintentionally emotionally manipulative, but I'm feeling like they're blaming you somehow for a problem that they're causing. I think you're feeling cornered. I think you feel like you've waited for a really long time and things still haven't changed. So now you're getting to a point where you're like, are they always going to have commitment issues? Are they always going to be unable to give you what you want and what you've been waiting for? Are you never going to have this celebration? Are you never going to feel like the love is reciprocated, or you're both invested in the connection to the same degree? Is that never an option for you? Is it just based purely on passion and attraction and not on anything deeper for your person? Those are the things you seem to be questioning at the moment. Let's have a look at your oracle cards to get a bit more of an understanding of this connection. We have a wisdom of the oracle card, and we have Yang 1. And then a quantum oracle card, angels of the 4 directions, spirit 4. Just going to highlight that you've got a 4 here and a 4 of wands here. So 4 may be a significant number for you. You will also group 4. So this card talks about feeling a loss of power, a lack of power, and also quite pessimistic about certain situations. And that is very much how I'm feeling from this connection too. I think your person is making you feel like you're powerless and they have all the control, because every time you try and talk about any problems that arise, they shut you down. I think your person has a lot of yang energy, that's masculine energy, and they're quite strong and powerful and assertive, and perhaps that deters your spirit. It stops you from being honest and truthful, and it makes you feel a bit defeated. All I can say is this person is not coming across in a good light. I don't think they are helping you at all. I think if anything, they are quite demoralizing to your character. And I think that's why you've been struggling so much lately. So it may be time to get out of this stuck energy and see this relationship for what it really is. Because I don't think it is a soulmate connection, at least how it is at the moment when they're not listening to you and they're not committed to you. It's not in your highest good at the moment. It may have been a soulmate connection in the past. They may have taught you some lessons. You may even learn lessons from this about what you want in the future, but it's not a good connection for you, and it's not bringing you what you need. Instead, it's making you feel cornered and upset and insecure and as if you can't get any rest from the situation. I do think that communication is the basis for any relationship, and it is 100% necessary. Good communication is what helps any relationship work, and I don't feel you have good communication with this person. I feel they can twist things quite easily to make you feel insecure and unheard. And you need to feel heard. You need to be able to say what's on your mind and be listened to by your partner. There needs to be that balance in the relationship, and I'm feeling like it's very one-sided at the moment. They have such strong, powerful energy that they kind of push your opinions and your views to one side and refuse to listen to them. And that's having an impact on your self-worth and your self-esteem, and you deserve better than that. Let's take a look at your Believe in Your Own Magic cards to get some advice. First, we have Voyage. You already have all the answers. And then Mural. Be your own first priority. I mean, I know this is not what you're going to want to hear, but you do need to be your own first priority. I think you've given this person more than enough time to change, to come around, to listen to you, to hear you out, to give you some sign of commitment, or at least that they're trying to work on their commitment issues, and they've not given it to you. So it's time to set sail on a voyage. It's time to let go and move on. And it can feel scary and frightening, but this is confirmation that you have all the answers you need. You can go it alone. You don't need them. And there may be this soulmate connection in the future that you head towards when you embark on this voyage by yourself. But you're not able to manifest this soulmate connection from this connection. You're not getting there. You're not getting it because this other person has such strong boundaries and they're unwilling to depart from them. They're unwilling and stubborn enough to not listen to you and not hear you out and not meet you halfway, which means it might be time to let this passion go and just work on yourself and be your own first priority. Look after yourself and work on your self-esteem too, because I think they have impacted that quite negatively, and I'm sorry that they've had that effect on you, because I see you as someone who is very loving and who's quite joyful usually and life of the party and a lot of fun, but they've sucked the life out of you a bit. They've drained you of some of that happiness that you usually radiate. So it's time to just be by yourself and work on yourself and get that happiness back, get that cheeriness and that positive attitude that you're known for back. And then when you're ready to start dating again, you can, and you will draw so many people in because of that beautiful, kind, caring, compassionate energy that you have and that warmth that you radiate to other people. A lot of people are going to be attracted to you and want you. I don't think that's ever going to be an issue for you. But I think it's going to be difficult to get over this person because you had such strong feelings for them and you wanted a future with them so much that it's going to be very difficult to let go of. But you need to kind of reevaluate this connection and think about how they make you feel, because I don't think they're making you feel good. I think they're making you feel the stormy weather, and they're making you feel unsure, and they're making you feel like there isn't a future. So there's no point in living in this mirage that there is when there isn't, and when there could be better out there for you, waiting for you. There's no point staying stagnant and waiting on someone forever who is completely unwilling to change, because you have to accept at some point that you've given them enough opportunities to transform, and they've declined them all. They've, if anything, almost made you feel guilty for even presenting them with the opportunity in the first place. And you deserve passion, but you also deserve commitment. You deserve someone who's fully invested in you. You know that how you're being treated right now is not what you're deserving of. You're deserving of so much more. You know you're worthy of more, and it's out there for you. There are these shooting stars out there for you. There are these soulmates out there for you who will treat you with respect and gratitude for how amazing an individual you are. But it's time to just let this person go and work on yourself, so that you can get to a stage where you're comfortable in yourself and you have enough confidence not to let others tear you down. Even if they try, you will know to just let go of them instantly and move on, and not wait around for them to get better, wait around for them to be kind to you and be open to commitment. I'm sorry, it's quite a difficult message to hear, and I think this person radiates a lot of toxic masculinity, and it's difficult because they balance that up with being very attracted to you and being very passionate and exciting and adventurous, and that draws you in. But then their toxic masculinity is constantly breaking you down at the same time. It's defeating you, and it's not fair, because you are an incredible person, and you're someone who is ready for commitment and who is open to working hard on a relationship and making it work no matter what. And they are not the same type of person, and they are not deserving of someone who is like you. The overall message is to look after yourself, because there is better out there for you if you want it, and you can let this person go, and you can move forward, and you will find better. But it's up to you in the end. And because you've been in this stagnant state, you've been waiting around for so long, it may be very difficult to break free of that and to go it alone and to move on from this relationship. But it's also in your greater good, especially if they have been tearing you down and there have been so many arguments or fallouts, because you deserve better than that. You deserve better than someone always thinking they're right and not listening to you and putting themselves first constantly ahead of you. You deserve an equal partnership. You deserve love and respect that they are unwilling to provide you with, but someone else will provide you with if you go out and search for them. Passion is not enough to sustain a long-term relationship, one that's healthy and one that works. Passion is nice in the moment, but love is what you need, and consistency is what you need. And this person cannot give you that, because they have commitment issues, and they may stem from childhood or from other issues that they've had in past relationships. But you shouldn't have to put up with all of that. You've already waited around long enough for them to work on those things and to commit to you, and they haven't. So what does that tell you? That they're not worth waiting for, and there is better out there for you. So that's your whole reading group 4. I hope you liked watching. If you did, please click that like button down below to show your support. Also leave a comment. I love getting to know you all better. Subscribe to Disorderly Tarot if you haven't already, so that you can check out my new pick a card readings that I'll post in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great evening. Bye. Hi, group 5. So if you picked the gold stone, this is your reading. I'm gonna pop that in the dish for it. And we will start with your cards from the Galaxy's Edge Oracle. First we have, do not let your broken heart break you. And then, your tulips are fading. So I'm seeing that you've been let down by this person. It's very much like they have actually broken your heart. They have completely flipped your world. I think maybe things were going really great for some time and then suddenly they've either ghosted or let you down or disappeared or flaked or done something really hurtful towards you. There's a very sudden, unexpected change that has thrown you through a loop. With your tulips are fading, it makes me think of someone who's originally bought you flowers and now they are fading. So it's like they brought you such a romantic gesture, they brought you such love, and then it's dying now, it's crumpling, it's hurting and feeling like a lot of sorrow, a massive letdown. I think you were very invested in this connection and then suddenly it's disintegrated and you don't really know what to do with yourself because it's like, oh, you wanted this so badly and now it's gone and you feel like it's never going to come back. Next, I have a Lover's Oracle card for you. Forgiveness. Stop focusing your energy on past events, for life is too precious to waste. You create your reality by what you think, dream, and imagine. So you're being called to forgive. That does not mean this person in this connection, but it may be to forgive yourself. Perhaps you have been annoyed with yourself for investing so much into this connection and then it leading to what you feel is nothing. But that wasn't your fault, and this is confirmation that it wasn't your fault and it's for the best that this connection isn't going anywhere right now. It's going to be good for you. There may be a lesson to be learned from it, or perhaps it would never have met your expectations. It never would have made you that happy anyway. So that we have a bit more context for this, I'm going to pull some tarot cards from the Everyday Witch Tarot for you. Tell me about Group 5's confusing connection. What's happening? What's happening in Group 5's connection? Tell me a bit more about it. Tell me about these mixed signals. We have the Eight of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles. 8 may be a significant number for you or one to look out for in terms of this connection. The Four of Swords. And finally, the Two of Swords. We have 2 swords cards, so I just want to point out that one or both of you in this connection may have an air sign in your chart that's featured heavily, such as Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. This connection has put you through the ringer. It's awful. It's not good for you. It's not making you happy. This card signifies you walking away from it. And it's very much what we were just talking about, is walking away from things you've invested in. I mean, you've filled all these cups and now you're leaving them, you're letting them go. You've put so much love and hard work into this and now you have to just be on your way and move away from it. But it is what's best for you. I think you had to put a lot of hard work in. This connection wasn't easy for you. And perhaps letting it go isn't easy either. You feel like you put your all into it. You really saw it going a long way. You saw potential. You saw a soulmate in this person and they completely let you down. And you know deep in your heart the right decision is to move on, to let it go, to forgive yourself for what went wrong and to just move on and move ahead. But you're finding it very, very difficult because you invested in this person so much and you loved them so much and you wanted it so much that it's so tough to just let go of it and move on. And I think you're stuck in this slumber at the moment, this point of you don't want to move anywhere. You want to just stay in it and pretend it's not happening and act like everything's still roses. You're still happily with this person and it's all okay. You don't need change. But that's leaving you in this uncertainty. It's leaving you in this uncomfortable platitude that you need to move on from. It's in your best interest to move on from it, to walk away from it. This person is not serving you. This person won't make you happy. This person, I think, has already kind of ghosted you or given you a strong indication that they're not the one for you. Try not to feel too bad about the time and effort that you put into this connection, because it's not wasted. It really isn't. You would have made some good memories together. You would have enjoyed moments being with them. You would have learnt lessons from what didn't work in this connection that will help you in the future and in other connections in the future. It wasn't a waste of time. So stop telling yourself it was a waste of time. Stop hurting yourself and getting annoyed at yourself for being so committed and being so invested in the potential you saw in this connection. It's not your fault. You haven't done anything wrong. And some connections just aren't meant to last. Some connections don't have a future, and that's what I'm seeing here. Now, I just want to note that some of you may not have had this heartbreak yet, but you felt it coming and you feel it coming at the moment, and you know they're going to let you down shortly. This is an indication that is coming your way, and now might be the time to move on. Now might be the time to walk away from it before there's further heartbreak, before you can be hurt more. But it's up to you whether you want to do that or not. And you may not be ready. You may be struggling to let it go. And that's okay. Some connections really are difficult to let go and to move on from. But you'll find the strength to do it when you need to. And everything will be okay. You will find love again. And it will be reciprocated. I think they gave you so much hope. And it's so difficult when someone gives you so much hope and you've dreamt up a whole future with them, and you've dreamt up all these possibilities with them, and you've made plans with them, and then suddenly they let you down, or all that hope evaporates and all those dreams for the future evaporate in an instant. And it really is crushing. It's soul destroying, and it's understandable why during heartbreak, like some of us listen to all those like heartbreak songs and we just cry ourselves to sleep at night, and we eat loads of ice cream or struggle to eat at all. And the only thing that feels like therapy is journaling or reading books or watching TV shows or films that usually make us happy, or spending time with friends or family, or investing completely our whole selves into our work so that we can't be distracted by the love that we lost. And we all go through these periods of heartbreak in our life and these letdowns, but I want you to make sure that you don't let it destroy you. You don't let it break you down, because your heart is good and feelings are good and love is good. And even though it ceases to exist in this connection, it will start in a new connection for you in the future. You just need to hold on until that comes to fruition, until you draw that love in again. And you will. It will be back. Love always comes back around. Sometimes from someone new, sometimes from the same person. Do not let this break you. Do not let their cruel words or actions or ghosting break you. Don't let it have too much of an impact on you. It's okay if it makes you sad. It's okay if you cry yourself to sleep a couple of nights, or you can't stop listening to heartbreak songs, as I said, or you go hit the gym and run miles to get them out of your head and out of your system. That's all okay. You're allowed to work through it, work through that pain, get some therapy or whatever else you need to process it. Talk it through with friends, even if you need to rant about it to get it out of your system. That's all okay. And it's necessary sometimes. But forgive yourself in the end and let it go. Move on. Because you're going to make new, better memories with other people and in other connections in the future. The future is bright for you and things will get better and they will look up again. Next, I have a couple of oracle cards. So we have the Wisdom of the Oracle deck, Higher Power 4. And a Quantum Oracle card, Deserving 6, Consciousness. I just want to point out there's loads of even numbers, so I don't know if that's something significant for you at the moment, but we've got 8, 6, 2, 4, 4, 8. Even makes me think of balance, and I think that's what you need in your life. That's what you need to draw in, some more balance, because I think this connection was not balanced, and this other person, I mean, maybe they faked balance for a while. They made you feel like they were giving you as much love as you were giving them, but suddenly that disappeared in a split second, and that really hurt. It hurt you, understandably. Higher power. So this is for the best. This walking away for the best. This moving on for the best. This hard work that you put into that relationship that you feel like was a waste of time, still for the best. You are going to find someone deserving. There's something so much better for you in your future. It's all planned out and you are heading towards it, but you have to let this person go and let this connection go to bring in the new connection. And this person was not giving you what you deserved or what you wanted. And there is some sort of lesson that you're going to learn from this connection that made it worth it, that made the hard work you put into it worth it, your investment of love that you put into it worth it. And you may not be able to figure out what that lesson is right now, but it will come clear in the future and it will help you in future connections too. With that gold stone, I really see you as a star, as something glittery, sparkly, beautiful. And that's your heart. It's so bright, it shines like gold, and that's what you were giving this person for such a long time, and they didn't deserve it. And maybe even they realized they weren't deserving of you, and that's when they flaked and disappeared. And it may take you longer to come to that realization than it did them, but that's okay. As long as you do get there, as long as you do get to a point where you're like, wait a second, I gave them so much and they gave me barely anything. They really weren't that great. I looked up to them a lot at the time and I thought they were incredible and I thought they were my soulmate and we'd be together forever. But actually looking back, what did they really give me? Was it enough? Did I deserve more than that? You certainly deserve more than them just dropping you or being cruel to you all of a sudden. And you will get more in the future. There is better coming for you. You've got to let those flowers fade and then just throw them away. You don't need to keep hold of the tulips. You don't need to try and build a friendship with them either. I've got this inkling that you're going to try and forgive and forget, and even if you can't have a romantic connection with them, you're going to try and have a friendship with them. In terms of whether that's a good idea or not, you can look to the Two of Swords. Like, you know in your heart and in your gut whether that's a good idea and whether they're deserving of a friendship with you or not. And if they're not, don't do it. Don't bother. You're a star and you deserve someone who treats you like one. It's funny because you got your tulips are fading and she's surrounded by tulips, other flowers too, but there's loads of tulips here. You're deserving of fresh tulips, ones that aren't faded, ones that shine bright all the time. Don't let this break you. You can let it wear you out for a little while. You can let it lead you to spending a couple of nights in bed, cuddling a pillow or your dog or cat and watching a movie. But don't let it tear you down permanently, because you're a good person and there are so many people who would look up to you and would appreciate you for what you are and how incredible you are and how generous and bright and lively and free-spirited you are. But this person, they weren't the one for you. And they realise that, and they are moving on. They've moved on. You will too. And it's all going to be okay. It's going to be for the best. There will be someone better out there for you. You just haven't found them yet. Lastly, we've got a couple of Believe in Your Own Magic cards for some advice. And first we have Homeward, Take Yourself Out on a Date. 42. More even numbers. So strange. And then we have Tower, Unplug and Relax for a Spell. That's a 3. That's the first odd number we've had. So this is a sign that you need to look after yourself. You need to spend some quality time with yourself and enjoy the time with yourself. Make yourself feel good. Maybe dress in some clothes that you love wearing, or do your makeup how you like it done, or treat yourself to a little present or a tea or coffee that you like. Do something just for you. Watch your favourite movie. Make yourself happy, because I think this person has really got you down and you deserve some boost of happiness. And with Homeward, that may even involve spending time with friends or family who can lift you up again and who can make you feel good again and remind you of how great a person you are. And again, we have similar energy from this Tower, Unplug and Relax for a Spell, with the tea and the crystals and meditating and doing yoga. You can treat yourself to things that will make you feel good and make you feel healthy. And once you're done with that, take yourself out on a date. I know that can be taken literally as in take yourself out, like dating yourself. But you could actually date different people, and maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need something fresh, something to take your mind off this old person, this old connection that wasn't right for you. And you need to be reminded of other people who are out there and other opportunities. If you don't feel like dating, obviously don't force yourself to do it. But if you want to do it, it might be the fresh perspective that you need. It might be something that takes your mind off this old connection and moves you forward. There's that phrase, you get over someone when you get under someone else. And that's what it's reminding me of. Like, sometimes you need new people to focus on and new crushes before you can let go of the old ones. And perhaps that's what would work for you. But obviously only do that if that feels good. If it's not feeling good, then you don't need to do it, and you can do things for yourself instead and focus on your own life and your own aspirations instead. With this woman surrounded by flowers, I really feel like and the same here, you're surrounding yourself in things that you find comfort in. So I really see friends around you. Maybe you're going to start hanging out more with your friends, which you haven't been doing for a while because you've been so caught up in this connection. And that's going to make you feel good and make you feel like, you know what, I'm worthy of more and I can form better connections in the future. I think your friends are going to help you realise how deserving you are of something better and how this person was not good enough for you and did not give you what you needed. And they're going to help you to forgive yourself for whatever went wrong or whatever you're blaming yourself for that wasn't necessarily your own mistake or your own fault. Obviously, it's a shame. It's a shame when things don't work out, and it's okay to feel that upset and disappointment about this connection not leading anywhere positive. But you can also try and learn from it. Perhaps you looked through everything with rose-tinted glasses during the initial stages of this connection, and you're learning not to do that in the future. To take those glasses off and see it for what it really is and see red flags as they become apparent rather than, I don't know, a year down the line. Perhaps you're learning not to blame yourself so much when things go wrong, because it's not always your fault and sometimes it's partially the other person's fault too. Perhaps you're learning not to give so much so quickly and so easily at the beginning stages of a relationship, even though you are inclined to do so. Try and figure out what lesson there is to be learnt from this, because then it is not a waste of time and you will find it much easier to forgive yourself for whatever went wrong, or forgive yourself for this connection ending, because it was not your fault and you don't really need to forgive yourself for anything. But I think you're blaming yourself, or you're finding ways to blame yourself or to make it your fault when it wasn't. I see this very much as the ball was in their court all along, and perhaps you allowed it to be that way because you really cared about them. So you gave them that control, you gave them that power. And maybe it's a lesson to try and lead things in a more balanced way in the future and not give the other person all the power and the control, and instead keep part of it. I'm not saying these are going to be easy lessons to learn. They're likely to be very hard lessons to learn, but they are for the best, and it is for the best because it will help you in the future to make more solid, committed relationships and to be able to jump over hurdles when they arise. I want to say I'm proud of you, Group 5, because I think this has been a roller coaster and it's been very difficult for you because you invested so much in that connection that has almost ceased to exist now, and it's going to be hard not to feel the full force of the heartbreak. But you don't need to prevent yourself from feeling the heartbreak. It's okay to feel it for a little while. Just don't let it destroy you, because you are radiant and you're deserving of something so much better, and you need to be ready for that when it comes along. You need to be living your best life and happy with who you are when that comes along, rather than living in pessimism, which might be what this connection brought you. So that's all I've got for you today, Group 5. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, please click that like button down below. Also, leave a comment telling me whatever resonated with you. I'd love to know. Subscribe to Disorderly Tarot if you haven't already, so you'll see my new pick a card videos when I post them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.